Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind podcast. So this week's show, we're going to recap the all-women's Fight to Win card, Fight to Win 162. We're going to preview BJJ Stars 5, the heavyweights, and talk a little about some other upcoming events. As always in the show, I'm your host, Maine, joined with my co-host,
Josh.
How you doing, Josh?
Hanging in there.
As per usual, we are remote, given the circumstances. Audio is going to take a little bit of a hit. When we're back to normal, the audio will be a little cleaner. I'm going to do the best that I can with it while being remote. As far as, let's kick it off with a little bit of news. Josh, I don't have anything for news this week, aside from we finally have some more matchup announcements for the Who's Number 1 event, headlined by Craig Jones versus Ronaldo?
Ronaldo Jr.?
I always want to call him Rolando for some reason, and I've been crucified on it repeatedly by everyone on Grappling Rewind and then everyone on Instagram who's like, that is not his name. So I'm like gun shy on his name now. That matchup was announced this week. Josh, what are kind of your thoughts on that match? It's in, I think, the end of February, so we have about 25 days from the time of this recording to the time that event happens. I thought it was kind of an interesting matchup, sort of. I wasn't really sure what the thought process was for making that particular matchup.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Ronaldo is quick pace, and Craig is going to sit down. So, can Ronaldo stay out of the leg locks?
That's really kind of what the question is, I think. I mean, after the match with Wagner, I'm very, very curious, and I kind of don't think he does. We're going to preview that, again, much closer to the event, but there is absolutely no news this week, so it was kind of the most noteworthy match announced this week. Any other thoughts on that one?
No.
Other matches that actually just got announced today was actually Juny versus Gio Martinez, two, really good bantamweights. Gio's world class. Juny has been on an absolute tear on the Fight to Win stage recently. Should be a fun match. Another really solid test for Juny. Gio is notoriously, I think, super frustrating is the best word to put it, to grapple with. And I'll be curious to see how Juny deals with a guy that sort of just won't go away, is the best way to put it. He's always gonna be there in your guard or on the bottom. He's just very, very difficult to get anything going with.
I'll be interested to see how quickly whoever gets to the ground, because they're both primarily bottom players and have no issue with being on the bottom. It's just how quick are whoever's going to sit.
Yeah, I think there's going to be no stand-up here. I'm curious to see with the kind of the strange entries that Ocasio uses for the leg locks, if potentially he's going to catch Gio. That's kind of where my head is most in this matchup. Again, we haven't seen a ton from Gio recently. We saw him versus Miao in a really not tepid match, but a match that I didn't take a lot of technical things away from. That he, took a very close decision over Miao there. I think Juny's definitely going to bring a different pace of match, so kind of curious in that match. I am interested to see how Martinez deals with Juny's leg lock entries.
Yeah, I mean, it again, we see some weird stuff, and that the 10th Planet people are watching a lot of the Danaher stuff, and we know that, Juny got a lot of that from
Cummings.
Yes, thank you. From Cummings, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think what's most interesting to me is that Juny typically doesn't use a lot of the same entries that a lot of the DDS guys use. He sort of took primarily or uses mostly sort of Cummings-like entries that we don't see represented as frequently in the DDS system, which is kind of interesting as well. So even if he's studying a lot of that DDS material, because Cummings and Ocasio sort of have this other stylistic entry, I'm very, very curious.
Yeah, it'll be a good match.
Yeah, I'll need to watch definitely some footage of both guys before, just to see how they both deal with those entries. But yeah, should be fun. Also announced is another rematch between Nathalie deJesus and Gabi Garcia. These guys, women have met a couple times before, Josh, right?
This will be the trilogy. They're 1-1 against each other.
Is that it? I thought this was the fourth time, but I could be wrong. I assume this is NoGi. I think Garcia took the first gi. I think deJesus took the first NoGi. I think deJesus took the gi match that they had. What it would have been a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that on Fight to Win.
Fight to Win like a year ago.
Was it only that much?
I think it was in 2020.
Okay, it would have been early 2020 then. So yeah, very curious to see how that plays out, especially in NoGi, which is typically who's number one showcases. And we have Roberto. Anything on that one, Josh? We've seen that one twice before. It's curious to see the rubber match, especially because they're 1-1.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like what happens exactly. I'm favoring Gabi in NoGi, so who knows?
Yep. Next one, we have Roberto Jimenez versus Nicky Ryan. Big jump up in weight for Nicky Ryan. Again, historically, an under 66 competitor. He's moved up to under 77. Now he is fighting Jimenez, who is historically around about 185, high 170s when he's cutting weight.
You remember when he came into his last match?
Well, that was Dante Leone, and they were going to meet at 85.
He came in lighter than Dante.
Yeah, which was surprising, but we've seen Jimenez typically, about 180, and that is going to be a pretty big jump up in weight for Nicky Ryan. We've not seen him compete against guys that were any bigger than 170, I think, ever, or at least in his adult career, and now as a black belt.
I don't think that matters because legs.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, we know Nicky.
We know what Nicky's going to try to do.
Yeah.
And we know that that Roberto is going to try to put a pace, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because we know, again, Nicky Ryan is going to do one thing. He's going to try to take your leg off. And Jimenez historically has had some problems here and there with guys leg locking him. Pedro Mourinho, Felipe Andrew. So this very, very interesting. I'm curious to see how Roberto's passing game works to try to avoid that, because Roberto's going to come out super hard and aggressive from the beginning. Nicky Ryan, through most of his adolescent career, had to deal with adult male grapplers doing that to him. So that's going to be, again, I'm guessing, in his wheelhouse very, very quickly at the beginning. It's like Nicky Ryan's used to bigger adults trying to blow through him because he was a child competing against adults for almost 10 years. So, yeah, I think he'll weather the storm. I'm very curious to see if Jimenez is going to try to even play legs with him or if he's just going to stay on the outside. So, stylistically, that's interesting. I'll definitely watch a lot more of Nicky Ryan's stuff ahead of it, although he hasn't faced anyone that really even has similar body style to Jimenez. So, that's an interesting one, especially with the weight move up. Any kind of thoughts, Josh?
If Jimenez can avoid all the leg stuff, I think he's got a clear path to victory. But if he can't, well, we know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Do you think he can get Ryan's back? He's got a really neat, back take ability there, and he's done some really kind of nifty things with the double underhook body lock that he uses to kind of shuck to the back that we don't see a ton of guys using.
It'll be interesting to see what he does or how he approaches it.
Yeah.
So
that's
that. I don't know. As we get closer, I'll probably think on it more and watch back more stuff. But right now, it's like, again, these are like pick 'em matches sometimes.
Yeah. Especially with who's number one, the matchmaking is really interesting kind of in that respect, to make you go, I kind of wonder how this is going to play out.
I'm historically bad at making picks, so...
I mean, you're not great at it, but I don't think any of us are particularly great at it, because jiu-jitsu matches always kind of get wonky with picks. And then there's also a lot of upsets not infrequently too, especially with the top guys in the heap. Like, that's kind of why I like jiu-jitsu for picking more than MMA, because MMA, Like you can have so much data about guys and how they fight and where they're gonna go. In jiu-jitsu, because people will trade back and forth through their career for like, oh, he's working a new thing, he's trying a new guard, it's gi, it's no-gi, it's this rule set. There's a ton more variance, and you can't just look at a matchup just by the numbers and make as easy as a pick. So it's fun.
Unless you're a meal.
What'd you say?
Unless you're a meal, and then you strictly use the numbers and you pick correctly.
Yeah, usually. Love Emil. He's on next week. He's doing a recap for BJJ Stars, so I'm super happy about that because it's going to be a by the numbers of like why our picks this week are wrong, which I'm super excited for. It's like, you picked him? Like, yeah, Emil had a gut feeling. He goes, the numbers say your gut feeling is wrong. So look forward to that next week.
Are you doing the Discord chat?
We might.
Well,
we might.
Okay.
Also, so kind of unrelated, but Nicky Ryan, I was on Flow this week, and I just clicked on Flow 24/7 because occasionally I'll just watch that when I'm doing something. And it was Howell and Shane Jameer Hill-Taylor breaking down Shane's matches at the World Championships. Super interesting. I don't know where you can find the footage, but it's somewhere on Flow. And I watched like a couple matches, just Shane just talking about like his thought process, like, oh yeah, I have this grip here. And it was like all in real time. It was super interesting. If you like our show, go and find that on Flow because it was super interesting to watch Shane like talk through all of his thought processes in the match and like why he went to something. It was really, for me, mind-blowing to watch, especially because he's a guy at my size, and I've grappled with him before, so it was cool to see, what he was doing in the moment. Josh, you got anything else for the news section?
Nope.
All right, let's kill it. Moving on to the recap section, Fight to Win 162, headlined by Rafaela Guedes defeating Ana Carolina Vieira to become the 155-pound no-gi champion for Fight to Win on the all-women's, all-ladies event, Fight to Win. Josh, take it away. Let me turn this other era thing off.
Well, it was a really interesting match in general. There was a lot of pushing at first. Gabi's has really good counter wrestling, and she's good at taking advantage of the tiny mistakes that are made to, like, either reshoot or turn it around and reverse the takedown in her favor. One of my big gripes about the entire card is that the refs and the ring awareness with the refs.
This is funny because I kind of noted the same thing. There was a ton of matches in the black belts that went off the mat like multiple times in the match.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. There was times in this match where the ref like pushed Guedes and that resulted in the takedown. Getting closer to the end, it resulted in a takedown because the ref pushed her because they were in the edge. I know none of the refs were Seth. They were all women. They kept it strictly women, including the commentary. Everything was women. So they had female refs. Just take a lesson from Seth, and as it starts to get by, or just take a lesson from MMA. If you, as the ref, see a certain point in front of you, try to work them back in towards the middle, because that plagued a lot of the matches, especially like the Alencar Mc Comb match.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to bring up, this point of just like there was a couple points where things got turned or changed that potentially would not have ended up there had the ref not intervened as the ref did and let the match keep going. It was like, and even in the Grindotti match and Aaron Harp, this happened a couple times too. So it happened a lot on the main card for the black belts. Look at Josh, honestly, like as much as I hate to give Josh like credit for anything, Josh is a really good ref, and so I kind of tend to, whenever I have reffing questions, I always tend to ask you, Josh, and go like, hey, what should happen? You're like, this is what should happen. This is how it should happen. You've actually reffed my matches from tournaments.
Yes, and yeah. I've reffed plenty of our teammates, and like everybody's like, "Oh, your teammates, you're going to score it for them." I'm like, no, I'm going to make them do the entire entire thing and settle it properly and probably count longer to make sure that they settle the position.
Yeah, you did me no favors.
No.
But yeah, so it's I appreciate that you picked up on that too, because I think that you are a very good ref. And again, we've watched a couple of 100 fight to win events. Whenever you watch Seth do it, he does it a certain way and keeps stuff on the mat. So I would have liked a little more of that on the main card here, because there was a bunch of matches actually that had more weirdness due to funny restarts, funny stoppages, and a lot of going off the mat. Luckily, no one was injured, but it was very, very prevalent for this entire card.
I mean, I've even said, like, they should have ropes, and Seth was like, this isn't fucking wrestling. And I was like, well, fair point.
Fair point,
and,
Seth.
But I think something to stop them from, like I get it, like, going into the crowd, it's kind of cool and awesome at the same time, but it also it sucks when it completely throws off the match or you mess stuff up. But we're going way off subject. There wasn't anything like super crazy with this match. They, of course, dueling toe holds and stuff like that near the end.
Yeah.
I would have given it to Guedes. She's a monster. Like, she's amazing.
Just the way that, like, the pace that she pushed for actually both of them pushed a great pace, but I thought it was the way that Rafael was initiating the positional work. And Fight to Win values initiation of the position, kind of much like ADCC does, where it's the person initiating the exchange, initiating the offense, and that coupled with her wrestling. And at one point, she goes for like an Uchi Mata that she like doesn't like about halfway through. She drops down for like a knee bar from it, and then changes that into a toe hold. Like, there was a couple times in the match that transitioned like that, where I was like, okay, Ana Carolina is very much in this match, but it was close. I would push it towards Guedes, and for the reasons that you've said, but also just those little pieces in the way that she was initiating, and kind of on a macro standpoint, I was really happy to see this from Guedes, because this is what I wanted to see going into this match, is how well Guedes can change her game plan. Because we saw in the Guedes match versus Elizabeth Clay, where she beat Elizabeth Clay, how she was very, very efficient and measured in the way that she handled Clay's entries into the leg locks. Here, it was cool to go, cool, I'm not as worried about Ana Carolina on my legs, so I will engage and play with her in the leg locks and initiate my own leg lock offense here when I feel it is appropriate and necessary. So it was, again, cool to see the contrast from one match a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago, to this match where, oh cool, you can do both, you're willing to do both against very high-level competition, change your game plan, and still have it work out for you. So, yeah, again, super impressed with Guedes here. Ana Carolina is notoriously super dangerous on the feet and super aggressive throughout the entirety of her match. So to have Guedes be able to maintain composure in the match, implement her game plan, and throw up consistent offense and be on the offensive, very, very happy with Guedes' performance here. Very impressive. Super excited to see who she faces now at 155. You just took out Ana Carolina, like, definitely top dog. Anyone, do you have anything else on the match you want to talk about, or anyone you want to see her face or see Ana Carolina face?
I don't even know, like, who's competing and who's not competing right now. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see him against a whole bunch of people, but, I'll just wait till the next match. I'd love to see Guedes back in the gi more, personally.
Yep.
But I love watching both of them compete. Guedes is, for being somebody that got promoted, 6 months ago, 8 months ago?
Something like that. Within the last year, in 2020 at some point.
Pants. Right before Pants.
Gi Pants, right?
Yes.
Was it that? Yeah, that was the first black belt event, was Gi Pants. So that was, 6 or 8 months ago.
Yeah. So love to see just more of her. But other than that, let's just keep on going.
All right. So Josh, I think my notes are in a different order than your notes. What is the next match that you have?
Tubby Alequin defeating Nathalie Ribeiro.
Yep. For the 135-pound
NoGi title.
NoGi title. I don't have a ton of notes on this match, actually. Really, it's just Ribeiro does a really nice job with a knee cut for portions of the match and like keeps open and kind of is really offensive for the most time. I would have actually given this match to Ribeiro.
Same. I was about to say, I don't agree with the decision at all.
Tubby's hometown, though, so it's really hard to lose in your hometown in a title fight.
Well, I mean, it's hard, but if you can watch and, like, I watched it, and then I watched it again, and then I, just zipped through it earlier today, and just, like, skipping through some time, at no point was it like, oh, Tubby's in the driver's seat. Like, she was keeping up with her, but she was not, like, ahead by any means.
Well, that's sort of where, and this is where
a lot of back and forth where they were giving up positions at certain points to try to go for submissions because, hey, those rack up more points than anything else. So that I can understand, but I don't agree with this decision at all.
Yeah, really for me, this was more of Ribeiro on the offensive passing, really keeping Tubby's guard open for the majority of time, and Tubby being forced to throw the top leg over the shoulder to prevent the pass. And there was a lot from Tubby here of her preventing Ribeiro's pass, but not really throwing up a ton of offense from the bottom. And that was kind of what was most notable to me in this match is that, Tubby was definitely, like you said, keeping up in the fight constantly, but Ribeiro was actively looking to advance position and pass and throw, and Alequin for the majority of the match was stopping that and looking to begin her own offense, but I didn't really see at any point in the match that she really, took away with the offense. And even Ribeiro has a really nice kind of jumping over. Tubby has the really far, she has a very, very open guard. I'm not sure what the word is for it, essentially where it's like your legs are fully spread open, and you're making it really difficult to actually elect what pass you want to do because you can't reach both feet. And the eagle guard. That's kind of what there's a couple names for it, but eagle guard is good enough. And Ribeiro basically jumps on one leg for a knee bar, and for me that was one of the biggest sort of pieces. But Tubby takes it, definitely in the fight. But I would have personally scored this for Ribeiro just sort of, again, initiation of position and activity and actually looking to do as opposed to looking to defend. So
I'd love to see him run it back again, no-gi, and then I'd like to see them go against each other in the gi.
Yeah, I would too. Again, a very, very good match, very close match. Just who was in the driver's seat. Next match I got, Josh, is Talita Alencar defeating Gabi Mc Comb via split decision, retains the 125-pound title, fight of the night for the women for the black belt. I got a gang of notes here, Josh. Why don't you start?
He's got a gang. Very high-paced, lot of pushing, lot of falling into the crowd, lot of commentary, literally blowing out the microphones from screaming. I know you can get excited, but you don't need to yell into the microphone like that. That was preposterous. I literally turned this on mute. I did that a few times over the course of the night for multiple reasons, but it was a good match. It was very high-paced. Again, with the refereeing, letting them get into the crowd, it messed stuff up. You had Talita gaming the system a little bit.
A lot. I think I would say a lot of it. Alencar, again, this is on
that knee bar toe hold thing,
yeah. So this is why I love Alencar and Wagner because they will fight they will fight the way that they want to fight until the ref goes, hey, stop doing that. And that's the ref's job to do that. And it is fighting those two people has to be the most frustrating thing of all time because they're doing a bunch of stuff that you're not supposed to do, but the ref is supposed to step in and stop it, and they're going to keep doing it until the ref goes, hey, you can't do that. And Alencar beautifully, using the edge of the mat, using the end, she escapes a couple different takedown attempts by using the edge of the mat, using the outside space, from a gamesmanship perspective and from just a tactics perspective. Super impressed with Alencar's performance. Super frustrating to watch, but from what the athlete did, amazing. Oh, as always, amazingly impressed with Alencar's ability to just work in that gray area so effectively. Because, I mean, at the beginning of the match, Mc Comb, 5 seconds in, snaps down to a super aggressive guillotine, and I was like, oh, I figured that this would be Alencar immediately on the offensive, and she tends to slow, and it is immediately both of them at full speed, and
That was off of a shot.
was it off a shot? It was off like a kind of a weak shot.
Like, she just kind of came in and tried to bowl her over, and she got her neck grabbed up.
Yeah, really, I was really impressed with Mc Comb there, with like the ability to sort of keep it and really punish Alencar in that position for the for sort of like the over aggressiveness at the beginning of the match. And then Mc Comb immediately like met pace, and it is uncommon to see two grapplers immediately ramp at 100 and throw and counter that quickly. It's not a common thing we see. Again, why it's fight of the night, I think, is for many of these reasons, because the pace that they pushed was pretty crazy, honestly.
And that was great, because that showed that Talita is working on her cardio.
Yeah.
Because she's notorious for dying in the second half of matches, and she just kept pace the entire time. She got pushed off at one point and looked like she was about to crowd surf, and the crowd pushed her back up. And yes, exactly. For those of you not watching on YouTube, Maine just fell back, arm splayed. And she was just eating it all up, putting on a show,
Smiling at points of the match. Mc Comb had her in like a pretty, I wouldn't say a deep toe hold, but the starts of a very good toe hold. And Alencar's just smiling at the camera, like playing it up, like doing the thing that Wagner does a lot, which is just like, I'm going to smile while you try to do whatever you want to me, and then I'm going to play spoiler and get out. And it was just, again, astonishingly frustrating to compete against, but man, it was fun to watch.
Yes, it was indeed. What a great match. Again, hopefully that's another one that they can run back.
I was really impressed here with two things from Alencar in specifically. One, that she was able to maintain the pace for the entire time. Like Mc Comb, we know, keeps a very good pace, and we've seen that from Mc Comb in the past. But again, it being such a staple of what we've seen from Alencar in the past, of having an issue with that, for her to not have an issue with that match, that was astonishing. I think that if she is able to keep this level of cardio and this level of activity, I think that she is an outstanding force in this division for a long time to come, because that's only ever really where you could point to her weak spot, is that, yeah, later in the match she tends to fade. If that's no longer an issue in her game, that's terrifying. And then Alencar has a really neat guard pull that I think I saw like at least 3 times in this match. Is she will jump guard, and she will jump a very straight guard, and she will put her shoulders very low to the mat and immediately go for the double ankle sweep. Mc Comb was hip to it, didn't get hit with it once here, but we don't see her ever throw that late in the match. She was throwing that until the end of the match, and she's throwing it well. Previously in matches, we've seen her throw that. Again, it's a guard pull that she uses very frequently. She throws that, and she'll throw it low. She won't get connection on the hip. She'll throw it in order to get the match to the ground, but won't actively be looking for something off of it. Through the entire match, even to the end, she was throwing that like her preferred guard jump, and then actively looking to explode off of it after she had thrown it. So big improvements from Alencar, honestly, just from that side. I was very, very impressed with her here. Great match. I honestly still, in my notes, would have given this to Gabi. I just thought she put up more with the toe holds and with the neck cranks. There's a couple times that she was on Alencar's neck. There was a couple of times where I thought she had better foot positioning. I thought they were both in the offensive. I'm not upset in any way that this was Alencar. I just would have pushed this to Gabi based on the more submission attempts in the fight to win rule set. But very, very good match. Fight of the night.
Correct.
Any other pieces to add, Josh?
No, it was a great match. Like, I'll probably go back and watch it again for like a 4th or 5th time.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. Yeah, honestly, the same thing. I'm probably in the same boat. I want to watch it again, because again, it's such a big change from Alencar. I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything else from the technical side, because I was just so impressed about her ability to keep pace. That kind of.
What's weird is they were fighting at 125. Both of them looked way bigger. Not in like, ooh, you're overweight. No, they just looked bigger than
Yeah.
125 pounds.
I mean, is Alencar, did she previously compete at light feather, which is 118 in the gi for women? Because I swear to God, I remember one weight class, that's what it is apparently.
I think that
She's always-
might be her class. She cuts to it though.
Okay.
I think maybe she was just making bad cuts beforehand. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they both look bigger than 125. They definitely look like they could have won against Alequin and Ribeiro and been roughly the same size.
Yeah.
And that was like a 10-pound jump in weight classes. So I don't know, but they both look great. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, super good match. Watch it. I will watch it again. Deservedly. Again, just the pacing. This was one of the few matches in like grappling that literally flew by. It was like, oh, this is over already. Wow, and for a title match, 10-minute title match, that is a rarity in grappling. So, good, very, very good match. Next match I got, Josh, is I have Luana Alzuguir versus Hanette Stack.
Ladies and gentlemen, Maine is not the name guy, and he nailed Luana's name. Nailed it.
Commentary, not so much.
Not so much.
Josh, where do you want to start with this one?
Well, Alzuguir won via decision. She won the title, which was left out of Maine's little thing, but that's fine. If you went strictly IBJJF standards, Luana got blown out of the water positionally. But Luana was going after those guillotines. She was going high elbow, which is like a big thing with most Alliance people.
What's up, Marcelo? Get at me.
Yes. It's a terrible thing to get caught in.
It's terrible. I love it. It's like my favorite fucking move, Josh. I love it. So, this match starts. Luana immediately with the guillotine. I was like, that looks kind of tight, but she's probably survivable. Luana holds it for a good amount of time. And then she goes, all right, she's going to get out. Immediately goes Kimura and is in the half guard from the bottom with the Kimura. And that is half the match, Josh, almost.
Just about, but I mean, Stack did what Stack does. If you've been around the scene for a while and you've watched her compete, she is a unstoppable pressure. She just keeps going and she moves and she just tries to get forward. She's very like the Jiu-Jitsu motto, position before submission. And I think that's what hampered her from winning. Because if she would have just started attacking off of a lot of the positions, not really caring about the positional dominance, I think she would have won. Because with Alzuguir, she had like the two guillotines, and they were pretty snug, but not going to be finished. And the half guard Kimura, that's like a meathead move. Zach can tell you it's a meathead move.
I think also the position that she had, the Kimura, and it's an active, you have to defend it, but she was low on her shoulders. She wasn't postured up in a position where you can start cranking. Like, there's a GIF right now on Reddit of the AJ versus Wagner match in West Coast Trials.
Yes.
And where you see Wagner has that, and he's turning, he has the angle with his hips and his shoulders to turn it. Luana wasn't in the position to do that. Again, it's an active submission that Stack has to defend, but it's not finishable. The same thing with the second arm and guillotine in the match. You see Luana with it on Stack, but the angle's not cut over. She's not posturing down. The hip's not coming up to force Stack's hips lower and head into the pocket. They're submission attempts, but they're submission attempts that most likely aren't going to be finished versus Stack's game that I think Stack had a beautiful back take here off of after escaping from the Kimura, and I was like, okay, so Luana's going to take this, and then all of a sudden Stack continues with that forward pressure and has this beautiful back take, but Luana is grabbing at the feet, and I love it. She stopped the first hook from being established by grabbing at the feet and then pushing Stack up off the back so that Stack was having to work her positional game to get the chest to the back of Luana's shoulders in order to throw both hooks in, and she was just really never able to do it. There was a really nifty battle that happened right there.
Yes, absolutely. And again, I was like, ooh, Stack's going to get the back, and that's going to be hard for Alzuguir to get out. But Alzaguir immediately was like fighting it. And it's not like it's a surprise. They're both former gi world champions. Like, they know their shit. They're both really good black belts. It was a great match. Stack is definitely bigger than Alzaguir. Definitely.
She's more muscular, and I think it's partially like she's definitely bigger. She's more muscular, and her game couples with that very, very well. Like, she is a forward, pressure-heavy, snap you down, hold you kind of grappler.
She was apparently, and I just heard this, just heard it, that she was trying to, maybe it was on the commentary, maybe it was one of the times that I had the commentary unmuted, that she was looking into going into MMA. So for MMA reasons, if you're doing that and you get to punch people in between, brutal.
I hate to see people go to MMA, but I would watch the shit out of Annette Stack in MMA.
Stack hasn't been as active in like the jiu-jitsu scene as like a competitor, so I wouldn't mind seeing the transition and her just making extra money and beating the bejesus out of whoever. I mean, the thing is, like, there's not really a 55 weight class for, there is, but it's not.
It's very, 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 very shallow. Because even Kayla Harrison, who was the biggest name at 55, is now, she knows she can make the 45 cut because she cut for her Invicta fight. So now we have even Kayla Harrison is at 45 now. So
45.
I think Annette would probably go 35. She'd probably go bantamweight if she were to go to MMA.
But that's the other thing, too. It's like you are going to run into, what's her name? The Lioness.
Amanda Nunes?
That one, yes.
At either weight class, bro, 45 or 35. I really hope they don't strip her at 35 because they're talking about that right now, and I would be super disappointed if they stripped her at 45 and 35.
Isn't she fighting for her 35-pound title, like, coming up soon? Why do you strip somebody that's fighting for, because you're holding up the division? Like, who are you holding it up from?
Everyone you've already beaten once?
Like,
give me a second.
Don't get me wrong, but like the two higher weight classes in female MMA are like...
No, she's doing 45. She's fighting Megan Anderson. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't know. There's like, don't get me wrong, there's tons of talent in those two weight divisions, but it's not like... It's not 105, 115, and 125.
I think, honestly, strawweight and atomweight, I wish the UFC had an atomweight division. We're going very far off sector here. Yeah. Deep Jules is actually running an atomweight tournament in a couple weeks. The bracket just got announced for it today, and I'm amped for it. It should be really, really fun. The seeding just got announced, and the bracket just came out today for that. So it should be fun. It's an atomweight GP, which I'm a big fan of.
Let's go on. Let's cover this next match.
So, great match. Tons of great transitions. Even in the later parts of the match, there's some really great transitions from guillotine to Darce to Anaconda and back to Armored Guillotine from Luana. Great work off the front headlock. Very, very impressed. Like, I really enjoyed this match as a goon that hunts the neck. I really enjoyed this match technically. This was a great display of two separate styles in the fight to win rule set. One that you would see much more prevalent in MMA and in IBJJF, and then Luana going, bruh, I'm going to go for everything, which is what I like to see. So very, very fun match.
I'm just a big fan of that half guard Kimura. I use it on Zach to keep his big ass away from me.
He's big.
When he didn't know that I did that, I would flip him over me with it, and then he got savvy and was like, I'm just going to break your shit. And then I started like doing it differently and just trying to rip his arm off. So it keeps him away from me, so his giant gorilla-ness doesn't lay on top of me.
You haven't seen him. He's giant now. He's like 250.
No.
Yeah, bruh. He's big.
He's been eaten?
Both. The little quarantine weight. I'll say it to his face. And he told me.
Last time I trained with him, he was getting up there a little bit, but he said he was working back down. Maybe he stopped and started eating again.
Yeah. I saw him Thursday.
That's all Maine, Zach. So you beat him up, snap him like a twig.
He will. So next match, moving on. It's going off the rails here. I always forget on Josh shows, I got to be the one that brings it back in, or else we'll never finish this show. Next match, Aaron Harp defeats Maggie Grindotti via decision.
took fight of the night. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. The Alencar match and the other match were good. Like, this match was Aaron.
The pace is on. Grindotti could not get anything going. I wouldn't say like that she got a mud hole stomped in her, not like that, but she just was like, she was stuck in first gear the entire time. And Harp was like, nah, I know we don't make cars that go into 7, 8, and 9th gear, but that's where we're going. We got this turbocharger on this bitch, and we're hitting the nitrous.
Dude, there was a couple times in the beginning of the match it was blast double, get up, blast double again, and even once on a kind of a strange restart, Grindotti starts with the body lock, and they say go, and Grindotti's about to do the lift, and Aaron drops for like the old school Gracie knee bar between the legs, goes off to the side to go for like, I think a toe hold off of that from the knee bar. It was just, Aaron was on the entire length of the match. And Grindotti never, because Grindotti is a fighter that when she gets you, she likes to build. She likes to kind of slowly take ground, and then as the match goes, she increases, then she kind of has this overwhelming pace on you at the end of the match. But she is not one that usually will ever come out super, super fast at the beginning.
Well, that was the damn mistake. I mean, like, there wasn't, watch the match. I mean, it goes to decision, yes, but Aaron really just turns it on. It makes it look like, you know, the competitive purple belt in your gym versus like the 55-year-old purple belt in your gym. Like, the guys, you know, it's just just a regular jiu-jitsu guy, just hanging out, not any aspirations to be a world beater or world champion or anything like that. And then you've got, like, I'm going to use it. I'm pretty sure not a lot of people do it, but he seems like all coked up with all the energy he's got going on and just blast through this 55-year-old guy. And you're like, I want to watch the rest of this happen, but I also want to save that man's life. That's kind of what was going on. You were like, can we pull Maggie out of the match? Like, she might be lost.
Yeah, it was. She really never got a chance to get anything going, which I think was the biggest thing. And Aaron just like kept her in a place that she was unable to sort of dig herself out and like even get to like back to where a place that she was comfortable positionally. You know, on the feet, Aaron was in her chest, and then on the ground, Aaron was onto something or to the legs, or she would take a position and Maggie would start to get something going. Aaron would go, nope, and then she over into the legs, and Maggie would be trying to pull out. Maggie threw up some leg lock attempts, but they were really counter attempts off of what Aaron was throwing up to try to disincentivize Aaron on the legs.
And like she was throwing stuff, but it wasn't anything that looked even threatening. The only thing that got close was that like attacking the legs near the very end of the match where Aaron was just like she wasn't even fighting with her hands, she was fighting with her feet and was like, man, I'm gonna get out of this. But it was a fantastic match. I think either there was a misspelling when we were looking at it last week, or we just thought the P was an L and thought it was Aaron Hurley.
No, it was listed as Aaron Hurley last week.
Okay.
Yeah, it was listed incorrectly last week.
What a fantastic match. Definitely go back and watch it. I'm pretty sure after that match that Grindotti is going to repeatedly watch that and then just like not like change her style, but maybe put herself in those bad positions to start with on a constant to where she won't be. And I said it while you were talking too. She was on her back foot the entire time and could not like move forward. And yeah, fantastic match. What a great match.
Yeah. Next match we got is Pamela Boveda defeating Yanni Race via decision. Don't have a ton of notes on that. Fiona Margaret Watson defeating Marina Vera via decision. This was a lot of fun. I like Fiona Watson's game because she plays a much more. She is a long-legged woman that does not rely on, it's super relevant, that doesn't rely on absurd flexibility to retain her guard. She tends to play a much more old school style straight guard, and she uses getting off of her shoulders to get her hips up, and she's super dangerous from the closed guard. And you saw that a bunch in this match in the way that she would like, not even sneakily climb her legs up. She would just change the position, and as the position was changing, she would maneuver her hips up to where they needed to start taking the arm from Vera. I was just...
Yeah. Like, there isn't much more to add on to that. I just thought it was funny that you were like, oh, tall people, tallin'. And it's like, well, yeah. But you were using it as more of like, she's not being insanely flexible with long limbs to stop it from happening, which I get. I don't have long limbs. I am moderately flexible. So when I do what I do, it's easier to retain my guard or get my guard back. But I don't know being long.
Well, you see, like, in contrast to someone like Amanda Sullivan. Like, Amanda Sullivan, again, very long leg, but will bend her legs behind her head in guard retention, like, ability. Fiona plays a much more, like, old school and kind of almost like, I'm going to say a men's game, but, like, someone that she does not rely on her flexibility to throw up the attacks that she wants from the guard. Also, a lot of play from just the closed guard. You know, we didn't see a ton of, playing from range. She was a lot of, like, very basic but very well-timed hand traps and shoulder traps, very small drags, pushing on the collar, like, all of these little adjustments to play just a very, very tight closed guard game. And it was beautiful to watch. Just like, you see a lot of people that throw up the armbar that she throws up from closed guard, do it with, like, by yanking the person down, and, like, they do it with not a lot of like finesse and misdirection. And the way that Fiona was doing this, she would just beautifully slide her hips up into place, and she would be on the arm. She would be super deep arm, like pelvis in the armpit, and Vieira would have to, like, okay, look out and really do very measured defense before she would lawnmower or pull out and get away. And then Fiona would retain the guard, keep the control of the wrist. And it was just stepping between a number of different things from straight closed guard. But she was active. She wasn't just stalling in the closed guard. And it was just a really, really great, like, technical display of utilizing the straight closed guard that we just don't see as often. People very frequently will stall from that position and will throw up one or two things, but she was constantly throwing up the positions and the attacks while still maintaining, like, good principles and fundamentals and doing it, like, sneakily. It was a very, very nice match to watch.
Yep.
Anything else, Josh?
I think you summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, I talked a lot. Josh, you want to move through the names? Want me to do it?
I'll run through it. Elizabeth Mitrovic defeated Tara White via decision. It wasn't until this match that I realized Tara White, I remember watching that NoGi match versus Brittany Elkin, and I was like, oh, yeah. So
this was really a who's who of all of the women we've ever called on Fight to Win. Like, this was a banger card.
They were like, find all of the women.
Dude, it was great... I mean, the only people that really weren't on this card were Gundrum, Bastos, Garcia, deJesus. Actually, there were a bunch of women that weren't on the card, but, like, it was a dope-ass card, and
I'm interested to see who they put on the next one.
Dude, I'm so excited for it. Like, the matchup
this legit was, like, great matchmaking, and, props to Seth and all the people that Fight to Win for that. Like, this was a banger. Like,
one of the criticisms that I saw, sorry, continue, Josh. Go
on.
That they all went to decision. It's like, yeah, but good grappling matchups, like good matchups with high-level grapplers, go to decision. Like, that's...
That was my point. Yeah. Like, there was no submissions on the black belt card at all. But very few of them were, uninteresting. You didn't open up a new tab while the noise was playing in the background. You weren't playing on your phone, playing Candy Crush or whatever. And, not paying attention to it. It was a good card, and I very much look forward to the one at the end of this month. Moving on.
Wait, they're doing this once a month now?
If I could hit you with my microphone, I would hit you with it. Yeah, they're doing another one at the end of this month.
Oh, hell yeah, Josh. The more you know.
They're doing, like, mixed card, all female.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
I think that's going to be their thing going on.
So excited for that. That'll be awesome. He's such, like, we've talked about internally about, like, the ability to showcase more women's matches. Hell yeah.
I don't even know how many people are on this card right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 black belt matches alone. That's 20 women right there. There is...
I think it was a 30-something fight card. Yeah, it was a big card.
You did a full fight card with all women. Awesome. Anyway. Ana Nascimento defeated Liz Excel via decision, and Sofia Amarante defeated Jessica Rodriguez via decision.
On to the brown belt results.
Stephanie Kopax defeated Brittany Elkin via decision.
Here comes the 130-pound NoGi champion. That was fight of the night for the brown belts.
Yeah, I left that open. This was a good match as well. It was hard paced. There was blood. There was pushing. There was submission attempts. Fantastic job. It's cool to see Brittany back with the crew much more, or more now, since she had stepped back from doing things. It's cool to see her back. Stephanie was putting on the paces too. She was like, I ain't slowing down. So, awesome match. Miranda Galban defeated Samantha Courier via submission. Armbar. Sorry, I'm reading it all the way through, and I should just say it out loud. Wait, did Joy Pendel beat Jasmine? I thought Jasmine won.
Yeah, so these results, disclosure, the results that we have are kind of screwy apparently. And there's been an issue, but these are the clearest ones we have, and I haven't gone through and actually switched some stuff, so we're going to read them, but there's some stuff that's not...
Okay, so Jasmine Hosha defeated...
Well, Jasmine fought twice on the card. Jasmine won via heel hook, and then I think she also fought Joy. Again, they're kind of screwy. Josh, why don't this week...
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
Go on. She competed twice, Jasmine Hosha did. Ana Harivian defeats Amber Agui via standing guillotine.
And that was submission of the night for the brown belts.
Mo Black defeated Vanessa Arango via decision. I always think Mo Black is a black belt.
Yeah, I mean, I look at every time and I go, eventually, I'm hoping next couple years we're going to stop having this issue.
Madeline Cahan defeated Sharon MD via decision.
And on to the purple belt results.
Christina Zinko defeated Jackie Reyes via decision. Jessica Burrell defeated Dana Stein via decision. Florane Rosario defeated Nicole Sinan via decision. Brianne Robertson defeated Mara Borella via heel hook. Catherine Millars defeated LaCatherine Translow via heel hook.
And that was fight of the night for the purple belts.
Jasmine Hosha defeated Cherie Kearns via heel hook.
And that was submission of the night for the purple belts. Man, that is hard to jump in with the delay on Skype here. And Josh is going to finish, and then I say my thing, and then we go back. I can't wait till everything's good again. It can bitch
Are
you
you
in person.
close to getting your... Are you on tier 1?
Bro, I'm on tier 3.
Ew.
Yeah, son. It's not so great.
I'm technically tier 1C.
Bro, I'm tier yo, you get it when you get it. And I'm like, ugh.
That's a good tier.
Rachel's tier 1 because she's healthcare and teaching. So I'm like, woo, you're gonna get that, and then I still can't because I'm a regular, normal, healthy person with no pre-existing conditions aside from my dumbass broken back, which doesn't qualify me. I looked.
Claire is on the tier that's currently allowed as well for teachers and caregivers.
Nice. Moving on.
Stephanie Lee defeated Bridget Johnson via armbar. Anna Mayordomo defeated Nicole Matthew via heel hook. Abigail Tedderton defeated Yasmin Granados via choke. And Caitlin Rittenhouse defeated Giovanna Southgate via footlock.
On to the blue belt and teen results. Come on, Josh, move on.
I know. Don't rush me. I will take my time. Helena Cravar defeated Kat Marset via rear naked choke.
She retains the teen 140-pound NoGi title.
Autumn Wolf defeated McKenna Alexander via armbar. Chea Block defeated Wendy Sarmento via decision. Malie Sessa defeated Jennifer Presedo. Yeah, killed it. Via decision. Christina Dion defeated Melissa Ehlers via decision. Taylor Clark defeated Monica Duarte via choke. Kayla Brown defeated Janessa Moradin via decision. Lucy Campos defeated Rebecca Pagan via decision. Edlin Serrano defeated Maria Garcia Aguirre. Man, I stumbled on that one. Via decision. Sophia Magana defeated Kimberly Bodner via armbar.
And that was submission of the night for the kids and teens and blue belts.
Sierra Fawn defeated Kai Buckner via choke. Jackie Diaz defeated Carol Lopez via decision. Emily Martins defeated Angela Perez via decision. Ashley Calderon defeated Silvana McDaniel via decision. Lorianne Pesarini, killed it, defeated Larissa Salvador via decision. Gabi Valenzuela defeated Ariana Ruiz via rear naked choke. Sophia Lopez defeated Lily Crack via decision.
And that was fight of the night for the blue belts and teens.
Baby Shark Sarah Galval defeated Molly Rogers.
That was Galval looked fucking good. Watch
she
this.
looked great, but so did Molly. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Like Molly went for a flying triangle. It helps that your parents are both like black belt world champions and are training you all the time and making you lift weights.
Looked very, very good in this match.
I'm going to get so much hate for that one. Jackie Diaz defeated Kristen Oakes via armbar, and Lily Rains defeated McKenna Alexander via armbar.
And that does it for Fight to Win 162, the all-women's event. Looking forward to the next one. Josh, let's move right into the preview for BJJ Stars 5, the heavyweight GP. You want to start with the super fights? You want to start with the heavyweight GP? Right now, we do not have a bracket for the heavyweight GP, so we're going to pull it, as per usual, out of our ass. We don't really like to preview brackets. Preview bracket events without brackets, but I think this one deserves some discussion. What do you want to start with, Josh?
Let's go into the super fights since we know what's going on with this.
Yep. Starting off with Leandro Lo versus Gustavo Batista. How do you see it going, Josh?
Well, former teammates. I think last time they met, Batista won, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe that is correct.
It is in the gi. Batista's the younger man. He's got more push, more steam going behind him. I'm going to give this one to Batista. I think he takes a decision, but I think it'll be a really good match.
So this is why I see Leandro Lo burns me so often because I pick against Lo. Lo's a weird one for me because just by the what?
But I love Lo.
Yeah.
But he's been kind of falling off, and every time I've been like, oh, he's got it. It bites me in the ass. So I would love to be bitten in the ass if he actually wins. Actually, Facebook memories just popped up today when Unity opened, and there's a picture of me and Leandro Lo, and Leandro Lo looks tiny next to me, which is when he was still at lightweight, I believe.
Well, he was cutting a ton of weight. He was cutting it was 2013? He was cutting a ton to make lightweight.
That dude was strong as shit.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I'm just going to go with Batista. I think he's just more comfortable in the weight class and has just been on more of a roll with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. This is a really hard one. I've kind of looked back and forth with this one. I've looked at their matches and I want to lean Batista just because MMA math goes, yeah, when you're kind of questioning, pick the younger man. But that kind of doesn't matter in jiu-jitsu, although we've seen two matches from Lo recently that were pretty low output. And I just don't think Batista's going to allow Lo to have as low of an output match as he sort of has been wanting recently. We've also seen Leandro getting outstandingly tired at the end of matches recently, and I think Gustavo will be able to key on that and kind of be able to pull Lo into a match that he doesn't want to have as much. Again, at any point in time, Leandro could just be old school vintage Leandro. And even again, he won the absolute, he's still absolutely on the top of his game, but I just feel like that seeing him get so tired, I feel like Batista's going to push that and see that as his avenue towards like victory in this match. So yeah, I kind of want to lean very slightly Batista as well. Next match, we have Roberto Jimenez taking on Zaki Bahens. This is a NoGi match. How do you see this going, Josh?
Bahens.
Yeah, I kind of want to lean Bahens as well. I honestly think that we're going to see some great guard play here from Roberto, but I think Bahens is probably going to shut that down. And I feel like
same pace and like next level pace of that. And, I think he's just going to push something where Roberto is going to make a mistake and then he's going to get leg locked.
Yeah, I kind of lean that way as well. I feel like it's going to be very, very competitive beginning. I think Roberto will have his moments in the beginning of the match, and we'll kind of because if we see Bahens get caught, that's when you see him get caught. Right at the beginning of the match, he'll overextend, he'll do something, he won't have the pacing quite as nailed down, and then he will get caught by something. And that's honestly similar when you see Jimenez get caught too, but I feel like Jimenez will come out aggressive early, get something going, and then Batista will settle into the pace that he wants to be at and go, I'm going to go for, the area that Jimenez has historically been weakest in, which is the legs, because Bahens is very much not by the numbers, but very much I'm going to fight you where you're not strongest guy. And I kind of see this going to Bahens as well, probably via an outside heel hook. I don't think he'll go inside.
I'm not going to guess. I'm just saying Bahens wins.
Next match, we have Bia Mesquita versus Tamara Fajeda. Rematch.
Bia.
Yeah, I want to go Bia as well. Last one is super close. Honestly, much closer than I thought it was going to be. But I've been burned.
She's a crazy person.
Yes, she is. I'm gonna go Bia here. It is NoGi, and that's definitely where I give Bia the
she's
the
good all
edge.
over the place.
Yeah. There's a couple other matches as well, Josh. You want to talk about those? We move on to the heavyweight GP.
We'll just announce them really quick, and then we'll go into the GP. Also, get anything you've heard me call so far. Remember that you can bet on this stuff and bet against me because you'll probably win. There's also Milton Viera versus Gabriel Rollo, Mario Hayes versus Leon Amancio, and Vitor Terra versus Persio Broca. All of those, except for the Mario Hayes match, are NoGi.
So moving on to the heavyweight GP, we got 8 names because I can't count very well. We got Leandro Margali because they're next to each other. We had Nicholas Margali. This is in the gi. We have Herber Santos. We have Felipe Pena. We have Yuri Samos. We have Gutenberg Pereira. We have Lucas the Hulk Barbosa. We have Eric Muniz and Luis Panza.
Okay, so Samos is a non-factor in this. Like, out of all of these people, yes, he's good in the gi, but he's a non-factor.
He's doing MMA now. Like, he's been doing NoGi for a long time. He's been injured, and then now he's what, a month or two, less than that, off of his MMA fight and won. He's also smaller than these guys by a bit too.
I don't know about that.
Am I wrong about that?
I mean, Samos has been like plus 99 kilos.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I always want to put him under 99.
And like Panza's a super heavyweight.
Yeah. All of them are, and most of them are super heavy.
Pena's like a heavyweight.
Uh-huh.
Lucas is like a middle heavyweight in those two areas. Muniz is like middle heavy. It'll be really interesting, like just going through. Muniz is like, I feel like Muniz is the dark horse. All 3 of the brothers are very good with like lapel guard stuff. So it'll be cool to see that. You've got Panza, known for his footlocks. Pena and Margali for being like these unstoppable forces. Herbert for being a crybaby.
That's the crazy thing. Like, he gives shit to Herber Santos, but God, when he it's historically, especially the last 2 years, he just hasn't shown up. But he has these flashes of brilliance, like we saw him in the Calazans match, BJJ Stars, and in the Margali match before he quit that match.
Yeah, but, you're going against Calazans, who's a middleweight.
Yeah.
And you're a super heavyweight. Like, oh, okay. But the dude just like he beats up on people that you're not like super aware of. But once you get into like the B and A and even like S tier of competitors, he falls apart. And I refuse until like he shows me something else. He is henceforth Herbert. Period. If he runs into like, honestly, if he runs into like Barbosa, Pena, or Marigali, he's going to quit the match. Like,
Yeah,
most of the way through.
that's exactly what I'm looking at too.
He's going to piss himself. He's going to blame it on doing drugs and his gun tattoo, and he's going to find every excuse. He might start a fight with Pena again, coming full circle from the first BJJ Stars. He might get another fight after faking an injury. Like, honestly, I don't care to see him on anything because of his just like poor attitude with competing. And if something doesn't go the way he wants it to, he's like, whatever. And then like, he's like, well, if this wouldn't have happened, I would have. It's like, dude, get over yourself.
So,
you know who's not on here?
who?
Muhammad Ali.
Do I have the wrong bracket like a dumbass again?
I'm looking at the one from Flow Grappling right now.
That's what I'm looking at too, and I think that there's another one that has Muhammad Ali in that lineup now. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. Let me stop previewing the wrong event again. In true Grappling Rewind fashion, we have a bracket that is more than 3 days old. Okay, I don't know if you're...
I don't see him on the most recent one.
I see him on the one from January 10th, which was almost a month ago, and it looks like Yuri Somos has replaced him now because he's not listed. Although on the poster...
Which poster, though? That's the thing.
Yeah, the poster from 2 days ago, I do not see him on the poster. I do not see Muhammad Ali on the poster, and I see Yuri Somos in the gi on the poster between Herbert Santos, Felipe Pena, and Margali. So yeah, I'm assuming that
replaced him because I'm seeing from what day would the 16th he was still on it.
Yeah. So Yuri has now replaced Muhammad Ali.
Look, not good with the Portuguese, so it's hard to figure out all this stuff.
It is. So Josh, again, I'm always gonna pick Margali here. Like he is my go-to whenever there's a tournament because he's just so consistent. He's such a unrelenting factor. I assume that we're gonna have Pena on the other side of that bracket, and I assume we're gonna get a Pena Margali final, and I'm gonna pick Margali. I assume we're probably going to see Erberth versus Gutenberg in the first match. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see Erberth get past Gutenberg. We'll probably see Panza or Barbosa against Muniz. I do think that we'll probably put Muniz versus Yuri, potentially do Barbosa versus Yuri, and then I feel like that Barbosa will move on. We'll see, I think Muniz will probably beat Panza. I think we'll probably see Muniz versus Barbosa. I think that Barbosa will take that over Muniz. Very, very close match. But I just think Barbosa's depth of experience there will come in at black belt. And then we'll see whatever else makes sense from what I've said. We'll see Pena fight. We'll see Pena and Margali at the final.
I concur.
I don't think any of that bracket makes sense how I said it, but that's how I could see him going.
Yeah, and I just kept looking, and Muhammad got the Rona. That's why he's out.
Yeah, that sucks.
So, yeah. It'll be interesting. Marigali is my choice for the whole thing, but it all depends on the bracketing.
Yep. Our favorite thing to do on the Grappling Rewind, which is guess without brackets, because then you look at the bracket, probably going to be released like, let's see, Flow is doing their BJJ, their new, whatever show they're doing now that does news. I'm guessing that streamed about an hour ago since we've been doing the show, and I guess as soon as we finish recording, within 15 minutes, an image of the bracket will be up, and as per usual in true Grappling Rewind fashion.
Yeah, like I'm not going to be surprised.
That's how we do it, Josh. a tale as old as time. So yeah, that's all I got for it. Any other kind of thoughts, Josh?
No, you're making me sing, and it's going to be. Nobody cares about you with your long hair. Sorry, I'm trying not to get the pop up of the video playing immediately, trying to see if the bracket got released while we were talking.
Yep. So I haven't seen it. That's all I got, Josh. You got any outro news? Any fun plans for the week? We're having a snow day right now, but I'm teleworking, so I didn't get the snow day. I'm not that upset because I'm teleworking. I'm having a great time. We haven't got snow in Maryland in like 2 years.
We've had a little bit here and there, but not as much as we have, and that's not saying much because it's like 4 or 5 inches, and people in Buffalo are like, ha! That's a normal day.
That's a normal day. When I grew up, I was just like, it's like, oh, things close here. I'm not too mad. I get to sit with my dog and Rachel and watch the snow and like work on my computer. Probably a pretty good day. So gonna get some Chinese food here in a minute because it's
grits.
Ew. That'll be pretty good actually.
Ew.
Yeah, I like sugar grits. I was gonna say ew, but I was like, it's actually pretty good.
How dare you?
And that's it, Josh. Any fun plans for the week other than the snow hanging out with the kids?
Use my power rack to do squats and squat a lot.
Nice.
And kids, try to keep them focused on schoolwork while my 11-year-old is in the background with her headphones in playing with a phone.
Nice. All right, Josh. Well, that's all I got for the week. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, to the co-host,
Josh.
And we are the Grappling Rewounders. See you on the mats whenever that is. Stay safe. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.